ICA Evening News with anchor Shawn McAninch. Sports, Cassandra Kramer. Ehren Wright, weather. And your reporter in the field, Kasper Kittredge. And our new co-anchor, KarLee Kearns.
Good evening. I'm KarLee Kearns. Welcome to this year's Security and Privacy Update for HMIS and HMIS conforming system users.
And what a year we've had.
That's right. What a year we've had.
Indeed. I'm Shawn McAninch. Thank you for tuning in. In tonight's broadcast, we'll be covering the most common security and privacy concerns regarding inputting clients into an HMIS or HMIS-like system. All users of HMIS systems are required to go through annual security and privacy training. This newscast will fulfill this year's requirement for you. This newscast is also being brought to you by the Institute for Community Alliances. The Institute for Community Alliances. Everybody deserves a home. This presentation will provide an overview of the following topics: new user training changes, user requirements, agency requirements, security concerns, and more. 2021 was another year dealing with the effects of COVID. For those lucky enough to have jobs, their procedures may have changed drastically. For those working with the homeless population, it has been particularly challenging. However, the work must still be done. A lot has changed due to COVID, and one of the biggest changes is how ICA does its training. Kasper Kittredge is live at the Institute for Community Alliances to give us an update on its updated procedures.
Thank you, Shawn. I'm here at the Institute for Community Alliances in what was the training room. This is the place where thousands of HMIS users met for days of arduous training that often resulted in tears. Gary Wickering, HMIS Project Director at the Institute, was one of the HMIS trainers before the change to online.
Now, were there intense rigors for in-person HMIS training? Of course there were. It was a lot of information to condense down into one session. It asks a lot of the trainees. Did any of my trainees cry? No comment.
All of ICA's training is online now. This new learning management system, or LMS, is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and is completely self-paced. Your agency director will need to sign you up, but the process is easy. The program includes videos explaining and demonstrating everything that the live class covered, but with the ability to replay whatever you need to hear again. Instructors are available for questions during normal business hours. The final test involves successfully entering fictional clients into a mock version of the HMIS. The new learning management system allows providers to get their new people trained and serves as a resource library for the users once they have completed their training. I'm Kasper Kittredge. Back to you, Shawn.
Thank you, Kasper. The learning management system sure sounds interesting.
It does. Let's hope there are no more tears. The HMIS Notice of Data Collection sign will be posted at any client intake location. Your agency has a written privacy policy without allowable uses and disclosures of protected personal information. It will be made available to the client upon request. Any computer that is used to access HMIS must be in an area that can be physically secured and locked. All computers connecting to the HMIS must be password protected, have virus protection and a firewall in place.
Every user will have a unique ID and password that is only for your use and must not be shared with anyone. You may only view, obtain, disclose, or use the database information necessary to perform your job. Remember to log off when you're done for the day, and the quality of your data is your responsibility.
Personal protected information is any information about a client that can be used to identify them specifically. Examples of PPI are name, social security number, phone number, disabilities, etc. Examples of allowable HMIS uses and disclosures of PPI. To provide or coordinate services to an individual with a proper sharing agreement in place, for functions related to payment or reimbursement for services, to carry out administrative functions including but not limited to legal, audit, personnel, oversight, and/or management functions. For creating de-identified PPI, never send client PPI in an email.
When you're coming up with your unique password, you need to have a few rules you follow. You have to have a capital letter, a lowercase letter, a special character, and a number. You need to have at least 8 characters. And you're going to want to stay away from the easy stuff. Don't use your dog's name, don't use your mother's name, and don't use your kid's name. Try to come up with something you can remember. Maybe start with a special character and then a special phrase that means something to you, like, I love pasta. And then a number, and maybe capitalize the letters of your special phrase. If you don't love pasta, you can love sandwiches.
Now we're going to Patrick Shocker with an update from the Des Moines office.
Thanks, KarLee. Hi, I'm Patrick Shocker, Iowa HMIS Manager. Although this is a privacy and security training, I wanted to give you all an overview of how our HMIS system has grown and changed throughout the past year and a half. Obviously, we had no idea how the pandemic would change everything in our lives, like coming to the office every day and remembering to water our plants, for example. Overall, the Iowa HMIS implementation has grown substantially in both the iCount and DVIMS databases. The federal government's response to the pandemic required a drastic expansion in the number of projects. ICA staff created about 75 new projects between the two databases. As a result, the number of HMIS projects in the state is now over 200. We've gained dozens of new users, gained new coordinated entry access points, and brought new agencies onto the HMIS system. In addition, with the implementation of the online training system, we've been able to meet the training needs of our HMIS participating agencies and look forward to training more users like yourselves. Back to you, KarLee.
The biggest thing about last year was the COVID-19 virus.
2020 and 2021 will no doubt go down in history as some of the most difficult years for the homeless systems due to COVID-19. We have been very fortunate to see a lot of prevention dollars come into our system from the federal system, as well as rapid rehousing dollars to help get folks out of shelter as quickly as possible and to keep people from entering the shelter. The focus of this funding was to reduce the shelter population, and it was successful. We saw our shelters populations drop. Unfortunately, we were not able to get all of them into some type of shelters, meaning they had to shelter in place at the shelter themselves during COVID-19. Many emergency shelters had outbreaks. Many had to come up with mitigation solutions, meaning reducing the number of beds, putting folks in motels, which unfortunately was a larger expense. It was a difficult time for everybody.
When it comes to data quality, it is expected that all HMIS participating agencies ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of all information entered, protect against any threat to security, ensure compliance by all users, ensure all users attend an annual security and privacy awareness training, perform an internal annual security review to verify the security of equipment and compliance by all their users. All right, team, what should an HMIS system be used for? Completing enrollments and assessments for a client being served by your agency, referring clients to other agencies or services, creating case notes and tracking client progress, and coordinating services for a client. HMIS should not be used for personal gain, biased opinions, stalking, sharing with others outside of service providers, showing service point to a non-licensed person, or curiosity. Additionally, things that are not allowed include staff having clients sign blank releases of information to be used at a later date, the use of general releases, which is not allowed by state and federal law, staff disclosing client information to third parties without client authorization, staff discussion within professional settings, such as informal case discussions that occur on-site where others who do not need to know are present. Staff discussion outside of professional settings, such as discussions in public places. Staff identifying individuals as clients at social events, self-help groups, or in public. And client files left in an open area for others to see. Client information should only be shared and/or searched for on a need-to-know basis. Need to know means the legitimate requirement of a person to access sensitive information that is critical to the performance of an authorized assigned mission of an agency authorized to use and enter information onto HMIS, and the necessity for access to specific information required to carry out official duties. The system provides a tracking log when users sign in, as well as when they have touched a record within the system. This ensures personal accountability regarding what is done within the system. The HMIS system uses the highest level of transmission encryption possible. Remember, you have professional responsibility to maintain a client's right to privacy. There are penalties for violating this.
Agency Participation Agreement formally establishes parameters for HMIS participation for an agency. These are updated and signed annually. HMIS User Agreement formally establishes parameters for HMIS participation by an end user. These are signed and submitted to ICA. Consumer Notice notifies clients about an agency's privacy practices and how the agency can use and disclose PPI. The consumer notice must be posted somewhere visible to clients completing an intake with the agency. Interagency Data Sharing Agreement formally establishes parameters for uses and disclosures of client data that are electronically shared between agencies for the better of the client.
All staff within an agency using HMIS must have read and understood the consumer notice. A verbal explanation of the consumer notice includes: what is HMIS? Why does this agency use it? Security issues, privacy protection, benefits and risks for clients. The staff provides the consumer notice to the client and explains it. Organizations must have an assigned privacy officer responsible for ensuring agency compliance with the policies and procedures.
HMIS Data Standards. They are the data standards established by HUD and are meant to ensure that every HMIS captures the information necessary to fulfill HUD reporting requirements while protecting the privacy and informational security of all individuals who are experiencing homelessness or near homelessness.
HMIS participating agencies agree to ensure the accuracy of information entered into the system. Any updates in information, errors, or inaccuracies that come to the attention of the participating agency will be corrected by that agency. The three components to maintaining data quality are a review of timeliness, completeness, and accuracy. Well, that's it for this evening's broadcast and this year's Security and Privacy Updates. I'm KarLee Kearns, and thanks for stopping by.
And I'm Shawn McAninch. Stay classy.